Welcome to Lesson 14, Multi-Step Ratio Problems, in our continuing study of ratios and proportional relationships. I would like to take our time with this section as it introduces the concepts of markdowns, markups, commissions, discounts, discount price. These are topics that often confuse students, but if you just take them for what they're worth, see what they're asking, nice and easily, step by step, perform the tasks you need to, you will be successful. So again, a lot of this vocabulary might be confusing, so again, we're going to take it slowly. Okay, so first of all, before we go into any of the formulas needed and any kind of calculations, I'd like to talk just a little bit about this idea of the idea of advertising. Okay, I have a marketing background myself. I went to, actually my original degree was in business, and I had a specialization in marketing, and marketing is pretty much the idea of how a company presents itself, advertises itself to the public, creates various schemes of sorts on how to get people to buy their products. And one of those quote unquote schemes of sorts are discounts. Okay, very often you'll see, gosh, it seems more so now than ever. The idea of discounts is huge. We are, the most popular and most fruitful companies these days tend to be those that offer discounts, discount retailers, etc. Because saving money equals purchase motivation. I mean, you're often motivated to purchase a product if you feel you are getting a good deal. Okay, and very often it might not be the case that you are actually saving that much money, but if you think you are saving money, you are often more motivated to purchase a product. Okay. Yes, and as we go into this, another one of the things I want you to try to remember. Well, actually, let's just a few definitions to begin with. Now, a consumer. Okay, so a consumer. Let's write that term down here. Consumer. Let's see. Hold on a second. My pen is not functioning yet, but just a little bit of vocabulary here. And now, consumer. That's someone like you or me who go out and we're going to go to purchase a product. Okay, when we are purchasing a product, we are a consumer. Now, a business can also be a consumer when they are looking to buy supplies, products, etc., out in the market. Okay, so any entity, person, or company buying items or buying products is a consumer. Okay, so when you consume, you are buying. Okay, and actually, when you consume food, you are eating. Right? So it's that sense, this idea of consuming something, taking something in. Okay. Now, a producer is that person who is producing or making a product or providing a product. Okay, a producer, and again, to produce, of course, is to make. All right. You or I can be a producer. I was a wedding cake maker for a long time. I grew up in a bakery shop with my dad, and we produced many products. So we were, in that case, a producer. Of course, not a large-scale producer, just a small kind of mom-and-pop organization, but a producer nonetheless. And we had people who were consumers who came in to buy our products. Okay. there are lots of little pitfalls, things to avoid, and I will just take those head on, one at a time as we approach them. Okay. One other thing, just like to remind you, we had talked about in prior lessons, but so important. This word of, or this term of in math. Okay, let me give you a couple of seconds. What does that suggest in math? That operation word of, what does that suggest to you? Which operation of math? Okay, so hopefully you guys remembered that it suggests or implies multiplication. Multiplication. Okay, my pen is very bad. I've got to get a new one. So, yes, of implies multiplication. So I want you to think, because very often when it comes to this idea of discounts, we are going to talk about 10% of such and such, and you need to understand what that means. We're going to talk about discounts, etc., mostly using fractions. Okay, percents are not going to come. Percents will come into the picture a little bit later. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's look at this first problem here, called bargains. This first example here, bargains. And I am going to go ahead and read this, and then we are going to solve it in a few different ways. We're going to use method 1, which is called, we're going to be using tape diagrams, and I think we talked about that before. I'm not sure how much we did, but I want to talk about that again. And then we're going to look at it in terms of another 2 ways to find this fractional part of, or this fractional discount. Okay? So let's go ahead. I'm going to read this problem for you now. Here we go. Example 1, bargains. So a retail clothing store advertises the following sale. Shirts are 1/2 off the original price. Pants are 1/3 off the original price. Say 1/2 off. 1/3 off. And shoes are 1/4 off the original price. Okay, now all of those are what we're calling a discount rate. Okay, so these are our discounted rate. And when you discount something, you bring, in this case, you bring the price down. Okay, so when you discount it, so it's discount means to price goes down. Okay, price down. Get that discounted price. Everyone likes a discount price. And again, as I had mentioned before, these discount retailers are very big, and those would be, Walmart is a discount retailer, Target, Kohl's, lots of discount retailers out there. Okay. Now with this problem, I'm not quite sure why they gave you all that information, because we're only going to actually be using, looks like that, the shoe discount. Okay, so here we go. Here's our problem. If a pair of shoes cost $40 and is advertised at 1/4 off the original price, what is the sale price? Okay. Now we're going to look at this. Look at a few pieces of this problem. So here we go. If a pair of shoes costs $40, okay. So here's our whole. Okay, our whole is $40, and again, we really like to stay cognizant, truly understand this idea of whole and parts. Okay, so a pair of shoes cost $40. Okay, now this same pair is offered at 1/4 off. Okay, so here's our discount, is 1/4 off. Okay, here's our discount. We're going to actually take that off. Okay, so we are going to minus that piece. Okay, minus that part. And then we're going to end up with what is considered our sales price. The sales price, that is the price you pay. Okay, the price you pay. And again, retailers love to show you all of this, okay? You know, originally $40, okay? If you've gone to Famous Footwear, for example, you always have the original price, and then you have the sale price. Kohl's is, you know, very, very famous for that, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and work this out. So we have, let's look at this in terms of, we'll get a whiteboard here. Okay, let's look at this in, actually, no, let's not do whiteboard. Let's get something where I can make straighter lines. Okay, use some graph paper. Oh, not that one. How about that one? That's better. Okay. All right, so this will help me make some straight lines. Let's go ahead and look at this in terms of a tape diagram. Okay, so let's go again. We're going to write this down. I have the original price equals $40. Okay. All right, and then we have what we are calling our discount equals 1/4 off. Okay, 1/4 off. There we go. Now, in terms of a tape diagram, we're gonna work with what you work with here is you're looking at this in terms of, if you think of like a long maybe piece of tape. Okay, a piece of tape. More or less probably named after the tape that you'd put in an adding machine. Okay, and I don't think you guys know that. It comes in rolls, adding machine tape. But anyway, what we're going to do here is, because we have this very convenient 1/4 here, okay, we're going to go ahead and split this one, and I'm not sure if these are even 2. Oh, I'm going to try to make them even 3. Let's make them more even than not. Let's get rid of this part here. Okay. Okay, so when you look at a tape diagram, what you're going to create, you're creating this hole. Okay, and I've split it up into 4 pieces because I want to work with this 1/4 off here. Okay, now this whole piece, this whole entire piece is worth $40. Okay, this is our whole. That's the whole price. That's the original price right there. Okay, now each piece of this, because I've split it into fourths, is going to be equal to $10. Okay, and hopefully you saw that already. Okay, so here's my whole. Now, if I know also that the discount is 1/4 off, I'm going to go ahead and just remove 1/4, because each one of these is 1/4 of my price. Okay, each one of these $10 is 1/4. Okay. And just put the $sign there, might be helpful, because each one of these is worth $10. Okay, so if I take that $10 off, I am left with, as we see, 10, 20, 30. So my sales price equals $30. Okay, a very, very easy way to do this. Again, because we had some very, very friendly 1/4 term here. Well, that doesn't work really well, does it? 1/4. Very, very friendly. 1/4. It was a pretty easy one to do. Okay, but let's go ahead and look at it in a different way. So this is kind of our method 1. If you guys want to, write this down, maybe pause the presentation and get out your grid paper, or just get out your spiral to take some notes on this. This method 1 is what we call tape diagrams. I'm not exactly sure if we talked very overtly about tape diagrams, but this is something within this program is introduced very early, like 1st or 2nd grade. Of course, you guys were not interested. We're not introduced to it. I'm not sure. I'm having a reconnecting problem here, so I'm going to pause right now. Okay, I'm not quite sure. I lost my connection. Hopefully, when I go and look at this later, everything will be okay, and you saw in full the tape diagram method. Again, the point I was trying to make with the tape diagram method was that It is a method that's used throughout this program, starting in the very early years. And that's, of course, most of you probably hadn't seen that before, but hopefully it makes sense, and we'll return to it occasionally. So anyway, method 2 is just more algebraic in nature, and it's subtracting 1/4 from the original price. So what you would do then is we would have our original price, which is $40, okay, and we would subtract then 1/4 of $40, okay, because here we have our original price, and then here we have our discount, okay, and our discount is always going to be some fraction or some percent of that original price, so therefore the original price is taken into account here as well. So if we went ahead and did that, and then I'll just start over again here. So 40 minus 1/4 times 40, okay, and again this is 1/4 times 40, or we say 1/4 of, and remember that word, okay, of implies or suggests or demands actually multiplication. So again that's 40, and then 1/4 of 40 is 10, okay, and we just do the multiplication there, and hopefully we're all getting that part because that's real important. And of course 40 minus 10 equals 30, okay, and again we come up with 30 again. All right, so this method 2 was subtracting 1/4 from the original price, more algebraic in nature, okay, than the tape diagram. Okay, so let's look at it one more way. Okay, now in method 3, I'll go back and forth between method 2 and method 3 just so you can hopefully see the difference. So in method 3, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the fractional part of the price being paid by subtracting 1/4 from the price of one whole. Okay, so what we do is we're going to assume that a full price is 1. Okay, that equals 1. So if we paid full price, we'd be paying 1 of that price. Okay, so in this case, this represents our whole, or the original price. Okay, original price. Now again, we don't have any dollar amount here. We're just using the fractional portion. Now we are going to subtract then 1/4 from that. Okay, because we're actually taking away. We're going to pay 1/4 less. Okay, so we're going to take 1, which is the whole price, and subtract away 1/4 of that. Okay, and this whole part here, this is then going to be multiplied by 40, which is the price itself. Okay, so this is again finding the fractional part of the price being paid, whereas before we just went ahead and subtracted 1/4 from the original price. Okay, so we used the original price here and we took away 1/4 of it. Okay, 1/4 of it. In this case, we are just saying how much. I mean, what fraction of that original price are we actually going to pay? Okay, and then if we did that, take away 1/4 equals 3/4. Okay, so we've done this part. This part has come over here, and then if we multiply 3/4 times 40, we know that equals 30. Hopefully we know that because we know each fourth is 10. Or if we did it, if we multiplied, we would just multiply 3/4 times 40/1, okay, which equals 120/4, which equals 30. Now hopefully many of us, or most of us, are getting to the point where we can just see very simply that 3/4 of 40 is 30, because each fourth of 40 is 10. Okay, but again, you can see we come to the same price. Okay, same price there, and the same price here. Okay, we also got the same price on a tape diagram. I don't have that slide anymore because of my disconnection problem. Okay, but there you go. We had method 1, the tape diagram. Method 2, actually taking 1/4 of that original price okay, and then finding out what that was, and it turned out to be 10, and then subtracting it away to get our answer of 30. Method 3 is to find out what fractional part of the price are we actually going to pay, okay, and we found out that we took the whole minus the 1/4, we ended up with 3/4, and we multiplied that by the original price, and that turned out to be 30, okay. So in this case, we're like looking at what are we taking away, okay, which is right here. And then over here, we're looking at what are we actually going to pay, which is over here, okay. So a few different ways, something to practice with. Again, take it slow at first, but then if you're really having difficulty understanding, please let me know. Okay, let's do our second example here, and that's B. We're going to look at B right now. Okay, here we go. And we're going to go ahead and do this, and we'll do this the 3 ways again. Okay, 3 different methods. So at Peter's Pants Palace, at Peter's Pants Palace, a pair of pants. Boy, that is a real tongue twister. Okay, here we go. Let me start again. At Peter's Pants Palace, a pair of pants that usually sell for $33. If Peter advertises that the store is having 1/3 off sale, what is the sale price of Peter's pants? Okay, so let's look at Peter's Pants Palace using a tape diagram. Again, we have some pretty friendly numbers and fractions here. Okay, so the whole of this pair of pants, okay, the original price is, as we know, $33. Okay, getting that from right here, $33. That's our whole. Okay. Now we are looking at 1/3 off sale, so a discount of 1/3. That's very handy. Splitting that up into thirds. And if we do split 33 into thirds, we know that we will have $11 in each third. Okay, so 1/3, each third of 33 is 11. Okay, so then our discount is 1/3. So if we take off this 1/3, because this 11 is 1/3 as this 11 is 1/3 as this 11 is 1/3. Okay, so if we take $11 off, we are left with, as you can see, 11. Another 11 is 22. Okay, so the answer to this question here is, and again the question was, what is the sale price of Peter's pants? And that would be 22. Okay, method 1, tape diagram. Okay, very handy. If you see some very, very friendly fractions, go ahead and use the tape diagram, because it can be a very, very friendly process. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get some grids here. I don't know why I need grids. I don't really need grids. But anyway, let's go ahead and work on. Let's go ahead and do it in method 2. Oops. Let's go ahead and do our method 2. Okay, we're using our same numbers. Okay, and remember, method 2, we are going to multiply our discount rate by the price. Okay, and we have our original price again is $33. Okay, oops, $33, and our discount, and again this is the amount off. Our discount is 1/3. Okay, so if we're going to remember, like as in method 2, we are going to actually multiply the price by the discount. We are going to actually find that discount first. Okay, so we're going to have this, our 33 here is our original price, and then we're going to want to take away 1/3 of that 33, and this is exactly the same, if you remember, as we did with the shoes beforehand. Okay, so then we have 33 minus that, so 33 minus, and then if we just go ahead and do 1/3 of, and remember this is the multiplication, okay, of, we know, most of us know, that that would equal 11, okay, but again, if you wanted to actually do the multiplication, this is how you would do it, okay, remember with multiplication, and that's 33 over 3, and that equals 11, okay, so 11, and then that equals 22, and here we go, we have our price of 22 as being now our sales price, okay, our sales price, okay, and here this is our discount, okay, the 11 is our discount, the 1/3, this right here is our discount rate, okay, that's the rate right here, okay, so some different terms here, it's our discount rate is the 1/3, and here's our discount is $11, our sales price is $22, our original price is $33, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and look at this in terms of method 3. And then if you remember with method 3, the difference was that now we're going to find that fractional portion of the price we're going to pay, okay? And remember, any full price is going to be represented by the number 1, okay? Because 1 is 100% of the price, full price. Our discount now, of course, remember, is 1/3, okay? Because that's our discount. This is our original, and it's not our price, but it's our original, our original fractional representation, okay? Original fractional representation, and that's always going to be for any whole or any 100% of anything. It's going to be 1. Okay. 1/3 is our discount. Okay, that's our discount rate. Discount rate. Okay. So then, if we do that, if we take 1. What we're going to do is we're going to find that, and then we're going to multiply that by our original price, okay, and that's our original price. And again, these are, 3 different methods giving you to do this. Of course, method 2 and method 3 are more algebraic. Method 1, more pictorial, we would say, okay. But you can see how they relate. Okay, so here's our original price. Now again, method 1, the first thing we do is we find out what fraction of this price we're going to be paying. And again, I don't know why I do that, but anyway, that's going to be, of course, 1/3. 1 whole take away 1/3, of course, equals 2/3. So then if we multiply 2/3 by our original price, which is 33, we know that equals 22. Okay. All right, because each third of 33 is 11. Take it away, and we have 22. Or we can look at it in terms of doing the multiplication. If you want to do this multiplication just to keep yourself fresh with multiplication of fractions, again, that would be, of course, 66 over 3, which would be 22, because you're going to divide 66 divided by 3, and that's going to give you 22. Okay? All righty. Okay, the next example introduces us to another idea, probably one you haven't heard of before, being so young, but this idea of commission, okay? And let me read the problem to you first, and then we'll talk about this idea of commission. So a used car salesperson receives a commission of 1/12 of the sales price of the car on each car he sells. Okay? 1/12 of the sales price on each car he sells. What would the sales commission be on a car that's sold for $21,999? Interesting price, huh? Okay, so let's talk about commission. Now, many times, people like myself and maybe your parents as well, when you're paid, you could be paid what's called a salary. Okay, and a salary is something you're pretty much guaranteed to get paid. They break it out over the course of a year, and you get paid so much per month, or Maybe like my wife, she's a nurse, she gets paid every 2 weeks, okay? But that salary is kind of your base. You get, it's kind of guaranteed money in a sense, guaranteed amount. All right. I mean, it's good in the sense that you you know you're going to, unless there's some tragic thing that happens, but you're guaranteed that that much money. So you're guaranteed that amount per pay period. Okay, so that's your salary. Now, commission is often paid to people who sell things like cars, maybe furniture, boats, things of that nature, and houses. Okay, realtors, people who work in the real estate business, are often paid solely on commission, only commission. Okay, so commission is the part of the sales price that you get paid. So, very simply, let me use a simple example here. If I sell somebody sells a house that's worth, and that's happens to say a car. House is never worth $10,000. Oh my gosh, not anymore. $10,000. Say I sell a car for $10,000, and you make a 10%. And I'm going to use this 10% because it's a little bit easier. 10% commission, or that would actually be 1/10 commission. So if I take 1/10 or 10% of this 10,000, that's going to be $1,000. Okay. So here's my commission. I get paid that. I don't get paid anything else. I don't get paid a salary. I don't get paid any regular amount of money, but I get paid this commission. Now, when you are young and you have a lot of energy and maybe you like to sell things and you're a really good salesperson because people believe you, they trust you, you know just what to say, working on commission is a really great thing. It can be a great thing because when you're guaranteed a salary, you're going to get that much money every month or every 2 weeks, whatever, and that's going to be it, basically. Some people are able to earn overtime pay. Sometimes people like myself, that's not the case. I get paid a certain amount every month, and that's always what I make. Okay, if I do extra work in the summer, that's something extra. But during the year, I get paid just what I get paid, and that is my salary. Okay, but people who work on commission, wow! I mean, some people. I worked my first job. Actually, I sold lettering equipment in downtown New York City. And boy, if you were a hustler and you wanted to get out there and work your tail off, you can make a lot of money, especially when something's new. This lettering system, for example, that I sold, when it was new, and it was new probably 2 years before I started, guys were making lots and lots of money. Okay, maybe making, these are kids who are, we were kids, we were like 22 years old. We're making like $100,000 a year. That was a lot of money. By the time I got there 2 years later, it was not so new. So I did make good money, but it was not the money that they were making. And I didn't like it anyway because it was in New York City and it was too crowded and it was hot and I had to have a suit on and I got sweaty and whatever. You see, I'm not someone who really likes this idea of working on commission. But some people do, okay? Some people do. And again, if you are selling cars, basically you are going to be working on commission, okay? All right, so that's this idea of commission. Hopefully you understand that commission is like a rate that you make. So a commission could be 10% or 1/10, or in this case of Big Al's used cars, 1/12. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean this up. And let's get this started, huh? All right. So with Big Al's used cars, okay. So we have a base price or car that sold for. Here we go. This was this. Now we're not talking about any discount. We're just talking about whoever the salesperson here, whatever he or she made. Okay. So the car sold for $21,999. Okay, so here we go. So this is the price. Now again, you can see how this is different than a discount. We're not trying to find any discounts. All right, we're trying to find what portion of this $21,999 that this salesperson is going to receive. Okay, so here is our whole in this case, right? Here's our whole, $21,999. Okay, now we want to find out what 1/12 of that sales price is. Okay, now here we go. This is very simple. Now you could use other methods if you want to, method 1, method 2, method 3, but the truth is we can just use what we know about multiplication of fractions, because remember the secret word here is the word of. Okay, so if I'm going to find 1/12 of $21,999, I am just going to go ahead and multiply. Okay, multiply that by 1/12. Okay, and if I do that, I could just come over here and I'll just put it out again. Of course, if you want to do this correctly, you can do 21,999 over 1 times 1 over 12. And of course, that's going to be 21,999 over 12. And what that means is 21,999 divided by 12. Okay? So if we go ahead and do this, and some of you may have known this already, that whenever you have a unit fraction, okay, this unit fraction is a fraction that has a 1 as its numerator. Okay? All you need to do is divide by the denominator. Okay? And again, hopefully, most of you came into this year understanding that, and yeah, so hopefully. Anyway, if we do that, we would get an answer of $1,833.25. Okay? There we go. Now this is the amount of money that this used car salesperson would receive for selling that vehicle. Okay, now this, you do not remove this from anything. Okay, you don't remove that. All right. Now the dealer, the actual the car dealer, the company that this person works for, Big Al's Used Cars. Now, in the end of the month or whenever they do their bookkeeping, they're going to need to subtract this off of their profits because they had to pay this out to their salesperson, okay? But as far as the price is concerned, I mean, the person who bought this car is still going to pay $21,999. That person paid that to Big Al's Cars, Used Cars. This person, the salesperson, got this much money for that sale, okay? So the price does not go down. It stays the same. This amount of money that the person got into their pocket, okay? Well, probably not into their pocket yet, but later on, whenever Big Al pays his people, they got that. But Big Al later on will have to take that off. We're not concerned about that, though. All we're concerned about is we're trying to find out 1/12 of this number to get our commission, or what our used car salesperson was paid. Okay. Okay, this next example, example 3, tax time, I'm going to skip, and if you want to come back to it later, you can, to challenge yourself. But I want to skip this right now. I just don't quite like, I don't like this idea of them, this marketing ploy idea. But the truth is that does happen, and the point they're trying to make here is that some businesses, they mark up their prices before they advertise a sales event. So, for example, they will actually jack up the price of something. And actually, I heard a case of this from a friend the other day. Well, actually, it wasn't a friend; it was my cousin. When I went to my sister's wedding, she had told me that she saw this great deal at a car dealer. Looked like a great percentage off, money back. But then she went down there and she saw that this guy's prices were like 10% higher than anybody else's prices. But then he took that money off. So the truth is she was saving nothing, okay? So very, very often businesses will mark up their prices before they take off money. So they do what's called, they mark up. And again, we're going to talk more about these terms, but I don't want to do this problem. Just don't want to. So we're going to they mark up, and then they mark down. Okay? Now, if somebody marks down their prices only, that's great. Okay, it's a markdown. Okay, that's like a discount. Okay, they mark down their price. They take a percentage off their price. All right, but when you mark up and then mark down, that's pretty much just an even swap there. You don't really get anything out of it as a consumer. Okay, but we'll resume here with these examples. We'll do this example 4, born to ride. All right, let me read this. I know there's a bit of a typo in this one. A motorcycle dealer paid a certain price for a motorcycle and marked it up by 1/5 of the price he paid. I don't like this. I'm just taking this. And then, later. What's that mean, later? I don't know. And it's actually not a typo, but I like this better. And then he sold it for $14,000. That should be a period, right? And then we can make a capital W there. What is the original price? Now, this is a little bit different because now we are actually backing up into the original price. What we don't know is the original price. We are trying to find out what is the original price. What we do know is we do know that he marked it up 1/5, okay? Okay, and then he sold it for $14,000, okay? So we know the sales price, we know his markup, but what we don't know is that original price, okay? So we're trying to find out what that original price was, okay? So let's go ahead and do this once with a, let's start out with a tape diagram. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and get that ready for you. We'll be back. Okay, so here's how I set it up, and I'd like you to, if you want to, go ahead and just pause the presentation and set it up like this. I'll just tell you what I did. The original price is right here, and you can see the original price is represented by these 5/5 right here, okay? And again, the reason I chose fifths is because we have a markup of 1/5 and it makes it easier, okay? So these 5/5, they are our, probably should have done that in maybe in red as well, but here they are right here again. So that's the original price. Okay, now that original price is an unknown, okay? So what I want to do then is I want to go ahead and use a variable to represent all of this. So I'm going to call each of these 1/5 x, okay, because we do not know the original price, okay? So x is going to go ahead and equal our original price, okay, because each one of these here, each one of these fifths is 1/5 of that original price. Now we can go ahead and we can represent our markup over here as another fifth, okay? So this whole strip, this whole tape diagram is going to actually be 6/5 in length. But 5 of those fifths equal the original price because that's 100%, okay? That's one whole. But then this 1/5, this is also going to be x because what he did is he marked it up by 1/5. So he took 1/5 of that original price and added it to get the sales price, okay? And the reason they do this thing is this is their profit, okay? Now, sometimes, you know, a dealer will buy, and a dealer, if they talk about this is a motorcycle dealer or any car dealer, they try to sell as many, well, some do, not all, but this is often the case. They try to sell a lot of units. They try to sell a lot of vehicles, okay? The more they sell, if they sell a lot, if they sell quite a few units, they can then sell at a better price and get more people in. But they have to create something called a markup because they have to pay. They pay a price for these vehicles. But then they mark them up because they want to make profit, and that's why they stay in business, okay? So they're going to mark it up. So again, let's back up again here. Just again, we want to take this slow because this is not easy stuff. If you're finding me just totally droning on and boring you to death, just move ahead. But I'm pretty sure most of you need to see this. We'll need to see this again and again because this is not easy stuff. Okay, original price here is represented by the red. Here we go, doing this again, original price, and that is 5/5 right here, and I've done all those, 1/5 x, 1/5 x, 1/5 x, 1/5 x, 1/5 x, okay? Right to there. Now the markup is represented in blue, okay, and there it is right here. It's another 1/5 x because this x is the original price. That's what that X stands for. It's a variable. Okay? All right. Now the sales price is there represented. The sales price is all of it. Okay, it's all of those fifths. All of those fifths. Okay? And that is the sales price. And we know that number. Okay? We know that number. That is 14,000. Okay? We have to know something. Okay? If we don't know any of this information, it's very difficult. Well, it's impossible to find out any of it. But we do know this, and that is $14,000. Okay? $14,000. All right? So we have, yeah, but this $14,000 is actually equal to, look at it here, you see this right here, see I'm just outlining that again, right here, you can see what is it equal to. This $14,000 is equal to 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5, 6/5 X, okay? So that is equal to 6/5 X because it has the original price and the markup in it, okay? So it has to be more than 1 if we're talking about a markup, okay? This number, if we're talking about a markup, has to be more than 1, okay? It has to be equal to more than 1 if we're talking about a markup, okay? So 14,000 equals 6/5 X. Okay, there are a few ways to do this, and again, we need to get really used to applying some of our newly learned algebra processes to these problems. Okay, first of all, I just want to alert you to the best way to actually do this is to actually have your variable on the left side. Okay, that's what we often try to do. Okay, just makes things a little bit more simpler, and you'll see in the future why that is. So let's go ahead and let's just say 6/5 X equals 14,000. Now, if you remember from some time ago, we talked about trying to, or always wanting to, isolate this X as 1X. Okay? We're trying to isolate X. Isolate, like have it be alone. Okay? Isolate X as 1X. Alright? So we want to have, in the end, we want to have X equals something. Okay? That's what we want. Alright? Now, one way to do this is to divide. Okay? And if you remember, we are going to divide by 6/5. So if I have 6/5 X divided by 6/5, okay? Because if I divide anything by itself, these two by itself, it's going to equal 1, okay? So that's going to cancel out and then, leave X by itself, all right? But remember now, let's not forget, when we're dividing, okay, we are actually doing what? Do you remember? I want you to think. I'm going to just pause here for a few seconds. I want you to tell me, what do you do when you divide by a fraction? What do you actually do? That's right. Hopefully some of you remember it, and most of you remember, you actually are multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, remember the reciprocal is just to flip the numerator and denominators. Numerators and denominators. Okay, so if I am going to divide by 6/5, I am therefore going to multiply by 5/6. So if I multiply 5/6 times 6/5 X, of course this is going to be just 30 over 30, and that's 1. Okay, X, which equals X. Okay, so here we go. So now we have X equals, but now what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Okay, so in this case I divided this by 6/5. Now I need to divide this side by 6/5. And again, if I'm going to divide 14,000, Okay, I'll put over 1 to make it easier. If I'm going to divide 14,000 divided by 6/5, I am actually multiplying 14,000 by 5/6. Okay? And then if I go ahead and do this and put it through my into my computer or whatever. Let me just go ahead and do this here. So this would be 70. Hold on a second. Sorry. This is actually going to be 70,000. Okay. Excuse me one second. My computer has completely there. Okay, good. 70,000 over 6. All right, because I have 14,000 times 5 is 70,000. All right, and then 1 times 6 is 6. Now, if I do this division, of course, I will get, not of course, but I want you to do this kind of thing on your calculator, okay? Please, give yourself a break there, okay? Just knowing to, use the reciprocal and all that kind of thing is important enough to me, okay? So go ahead, 70,000 divided by 6. If we do that, I have the answer actually at my ready somewhere, but where did it go? Here it is, 11,666.67, okay? So this is the answer to this question, okay? The original price was this, okay? That was the original price. And what the dealer did is he marked it up by 1/5 of this. So he actually took 1/5 of this price, okay, and added it onto that price to get $14,000. Okay, all right. And let's look at this a different way. I want to just go ahead and show you another way to do this. It's very similar, but let me just show you anyway. Okay, so if we had, well, actually, let's go back to this. All right. Now, if you know that this 6/5, this whole 6/5 of this is 14,000, you can actually just divide that 14,000 by 6, okay? Because what you're doing is you're trying to find out what each of these pieces is worth, okay? And we'll know that if we divide that. So if we did that, let's divide 14,000 by 6. Okay, I'm just going to do this with you. So here we go. 12. Just nice to remind you how to do all this stuff, right? And that's 3, 18, and you can see what's going to happen here. See some repeating going on? Okay, so this is going to be this. All right, so it's going to be repeat 3. It's going to repeat for forever. So each one of those 6 is equal to $2,333.33. Okay. Now, if I go back, what I'm trying to find out, I am only interested in what 5 of those fifths is worth. Okay? That's all I'm interested in. I'm only interested in 5 of those fifths. Okay? So, if I know, and the reason I'm only interested in 5 of those fifths is because I want to find out the original price. This is my motivation for doing this. My question was, what is the original price? Okay? So if I know that each fifth equals $2,333.33, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply that by 5. Okay? And if I multiply that by 5, I'm going to get a number that's very close to $11,666.67. Of course, it's not going to be the exact same price, but it is going to be very, very, very close. Okay? All right? So we could do it that way. You could look at it, how much is each fifth worth? Okay? Because we have the whole, we have the parts, and then we just did that division, and we got that, and then multiply that by how many we were interested in, which was 5 of those fifths, because that was the original price. You could do it that way, or you could have done it this way. You could have just taken and done your algebra, taken your made your equations, 6/5 x equals 14,000, and gone through that. Okay, many ways. It takes lots and lots of practice. You know, your problem set will hopefully give you some chance to practice this. Okay. Okay, we're gonna close this lesson now. But I want to take a little, maybe a little extra time closing this this time, and I also actually want to go over some of the the exit ticket, which I want to kind of use some of it to help in the closing. Okay. Okay, so a couple of things we learned in this lesson, hopefully, is we learned about discount price. Okay. And now discount price is the original price minus the rate taken off of the original price. Okay, so the discount price is the actual, what's left over after the discount. Okay, now the discount itself is the part that you've actually taken away. Okay, so if you have a discount, and that's usually when you're at a retail store, you don't see discounts in fractions. Okay, they used fractions in this lesson more so, I think, to make it more or less a little bit friendlier for you. But it's usually a percentage anyway. Okay, but anyway, so they, like, for example, they took 1/5 off. So your discount would be 1/5 of whatever the original price was. Okay, now your discount price. 1/5, I should put 1/5 of original. All right. Now your discount price in this case is actually going to be 4/5 of the original. Okay. So your discount plus your discount price is always going to equal, you know, 1 whole. Okay. So if you have an original price, it's going to be that original price. Okay, if you add those two together, it's going to be original price. So if your original price is $10, okay, that's your original, original. The discount, if it's 1/5, is going to be $2. So you're going to take $2 off, and then you're going to have 4/5 of that original, and that's the discount price. So here's your discount price, or discounted price. Here's your discount. And then here's your original price. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's not too confusing. I just want to differentiate between this idea, because they're putting discount price here, and they notice they haven't even, in this lesson summary here, they don't even talk about discount. Okay, which is probably the most confusing thing for kids. Okay. All right. So we talked about commission. You know, and a commission again, similar to discount in the sense that it's a rate times an amount, okay? But it's very dissimilar from discount and all that, because, you know, a commission rate just takes that percentage or fraction of a total, and then that, of course, is paid to whoever made the sale. And when you talk about commission, you're always talking about sales. Okay, that's someone's livelihood in a sense. Very often, I don't know if many of you have actually brought any any clothing sometimes to Goodwill. I mean, I bring it to Goodwill. I don't expect anything, but some of these shops are consignment shops. So the person who brings it in, maybe like an antique store, you bring it in, and then you'll get a percentage of whatever they sell it for, and that's more or less your commission. Okay. All right, so we talked about this, so discount, commission, and then markup price. Okay, so markup price differs from discount price in the sense that your price is going up. Okay, and here it is. So you're going to actually add that rate, or add that percentage, add that fraction to your original price. Okay, in this case, in the discount, you are actually, your price is going to go down because you're subtracting that away. Okay, so here we go. We have plus here, and we have subtraction here. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just do a quick little compare and contrast of a commission and a discount price and all the rest here. Let's just get a little, I don't know, maybe we can just have a whiteboard here. Okay, and if we look at let's go ahead and look at these different rates and terminology and see how they are the same and how they are different. Okay, I just created a quick Venn diagram of commission versus discount. Two things that should not be confused by you, hopefully, in the future. I'm not exactly sure how often commission is going to come up, but discount will come up again. And again, I'm talking about just discount in a sense, not discount price. Okay, so what they have in common is right here in the middle. Okay, they are both fractional parts of the whole. Okay, the wholes are a little bit different, as we can see over here, because the excuse me, the commission is the rate times the sale. Okay, so I should put sales price. Okay, the price that the car or the motorcycle or the boat or the refrigerator, whatever price that they sold at, that is that rate times that sales price. Okay, and in the case of the discount, that is the rate times the original price. Okay, it's the original price that the shirt or the shoes or whatever was actually priced at. Okay, original price. Over here with the commission, we have this commission is paid to the salesperson. Okay, there's a person who sold this boat or car or motorcycle, and that's the money they get. Okay, that's their commission. Okay, whereas a discount is what is saved by the consumer. Okay, that's the money you save. All right, if you got 10% off of a price, then you saved that 10%. Okay. And again, it's not always as clear as it may seem, but in our minds, at least, we always want to feel that we have saved money. Okay, so before you go do your exit ticket, I'm going to leave you on your own to do the problem sets, and I'm sure these couple of tips or whatever will apply to those as well. But I just noticed in the exit ticket, I just want to try to get you beyond this confusion of discount versus discount price, for example. Now, just to know that the discount is the rate times the original price. Okay, and they're going to give you a discount rate. For example, in the first exit ticket problem, what are we looking at? 1/3, a 1/3 discount. Okay, so this is going to be the money that you take off the original price eventually, and we'll just that's a discount price. So anyway, the discount is that portion that you're going to take away eventually. So it's just the rate times the original price. Okay. Now the discount price is the original price minus, okay, subtract. The discount is always going to be a subtraction. Is the rate times the original price, and that's this right here. Okay, so that's that one. So it's the original price minus, this is actually right here, is the discount right here. Okay, that's the discount, this part right there, that portion that you're taking away. Okay, so again, discount is that part you're going to take away, and that's a rate times the original price. The discount price is taking that original price and taking away the discount, and that's what you're left with. Okay, it's a leftover. Okay, just a few more items before I leave you on your own to complete your problems. Discount, markdown, markup. These are all going to be fractional portions. Okay, these are all fractional portions of an original price. Okay, and you can see that discount is found by original price times that discount rate. Markdown is the original price. Original price times a rate. Markup is original price times a markup rate. Okay, The difference here with these two is that between discount and markdown, they're all going to be subtracted. Okay, they're going to be subtracted here. All right. Now the markup is going to be added. Okay, so mark, and you can see that markup. That's going to be added to the original price. So now we look down here at price, and you can see whenever you see price, and they may ask you, what is the discount price? What is the markdown price? What is the markup price? Or they might say, what is the price after markup? What is the price after markdown? Okay, so whenever you see that word price, you know you're going to be talking about this idea of this, in the case of a discount and a markdown, you're going to talk about leftover. Okay, so what is left over after you subtract the discount or the markdown? What's left over? That's going to be your discount price or your markdown price. Now with markup price or price after markup, now you're going to have a new total after the addition of the markup. Okay, and those are just some clarifications I wanted to make. So hopefully you do well on your problem sets. Any problems on the problems, please always feel free to give me a call or send me an email. Okay, good luck, guys and gals.